a lot of interactive sort of thing that was going on, and it made it a lot easier doing this live. So it's a little bit hard over a webinar, and this is my first webinar, so bear with me. But we highly recommend that after watching this or next time you've got some free time, you just click on the link that we've already put up there and have a watch of that. Now, the first thing that I wanted to do, a lot of you haven't met me at the session that we had a couple of months ago. So for girls that haven't met me, my name's Angelo, and I'll just talk a little bit about myself. I grew up in a fairly typical Australian sort of household. It's the oldest of three siblings. My sister is Lucia, and that's us in the first picture there. I'm just a little bit older than her, and it wasn't long before our youngest brother, Matthew, came along. So once again, just a standard Australian family, growing up in the suburbs, very sort of happy times. Then I went to high school, just Campbell High School, just a local high school, and it wasn't long after that before I got a first full-time job as a tradie. I was making furniture for a living. And there's a photo of me with some of my furniture. That those two pieces there won an award, and I ended up getting an apprentice award for those bits of furniture. It wasn't long after that, so I was working as an apprentice for 4 years. I had a shoulder injury, and I was told I wasn't allowed to work. So you can imagine, I paid next to nothing. $6 an hour when I was an apprentice, then $7 an hour second year, and so on. When I became fully qualified, I was fully qualified for 2 weeks, starting to make good money, and had a pretty serious shoulder injury, and was told once again couldn't work anymore in that trade. Which obviously upset me quite a bit, and it's probably I'd call my first time. I didn't add to a party. Also, long after that, where that path went wrong for me, and I ended up in hospital after an overdose, and that's that photo there. This is all really embarrassing to talk about, and I guess the reason I'm talking about it is to sort of show you that you can have rough times. Everyone does, and that's what sales is about. There's a lot of rejection. You can have tough times, and with action, you can turn that around. You can go from in that sort of down the bottom there and totally change yourself or reinvent yourself and become the person you want to be with hard work. And everything we're going to go through tonight, I'm not going to lie to you, it is hard work, but it does pay off. Lucy was working for a company 9 till 5. Her little son came along, and she wasn't able to work at a job anymore. She took on her role here, and is making twice as much money as she was at a 9 to 5 day job, 3 times as much money, because she put in the hard work. Now, after this all happened, I decided to get into real estate. So I wanted to change my life. I wasn't able to work once again as a tradesman. I'd had some bad times, and I decided to turn things around. So I did a bit of study, got my real estate license, and went to a company and started from the bottom. I've been in real estate for 5 or 6 years now, and in that time I have finished in the top 10 in the whole of Victoria. I finished 7 in Victoria for highest grossing commission. So they base that on not just your sales, but how much commission you earned from those sales, and they add up every commission from every sale for an entire year. At the end of the year, they rank the estate agents 1 to 100. I was lucky enough to finish 7. There were a couple of months in those years where I finished number 1 in Victoria for the month, number 1 in my area, which was Knox City, number 2, number 3, that sort of thing. Did really, really well for a considerable amount of time there. And that was all because I changed a few things in my life, and we're going to talk more about what those things are and how they can relate to your business. Bear with me for a second. So I'm not great with computers, so I'm finding this a little bit difficult. Okay, here we go. And yeah, how they can relate to SeneGence. Okay, so let's get the next screen up. I call this story the girl with the pink hair. And the reason I call this story the girl with the pink hair is because it's about a girl who has pink hair. Once again, I was working at an office. I was about 2 or 3 weeks in as an estate agent. I knew nothing. I was literally I was trading and working in a real estate office. I had no idea what was going on. And this girl, who you can see a photo of, came into my office. And like any office, there's reception up front. She walks in and stands at reception and asks to see a few houses. Now, all the older estate agents, they looked up from their desk and they saw her and they quickly looked back down. Basically, what I know now is that they looked at her and they were judging her. They looked at her straight away and thought, she's not going to be able to afford a house. She's not going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to sell this girl anything. She's a waste of my time. That's the attitude they had. Once again, I didn't know any better. I was new. I walked straight up to her and said, how can I? We jumped in my car and we went to a few houses. We went to, for the first house, she didn't like it. Went to the second house, she didn't like it. We went to the third house. She was walking around and she said, I love it, I want to buy this house. And anyone who's bought real estate before will know it's not that simple. There's contracts, there's trust funds, there's deposits, there's all sorts of things that you have to go through before you can actually buy a home. It's really not that simple. So I was shocked. Anyway, I went back to my office. She had a little while to think about it. Within an hour, she came back to my office, put in an offer, and bought the house. Now, what I didn't know at the time, or all the other estate agents didn't know, is that girl was actually the granddaughter of one of the people who own Coles Myer, a big player in Coles Myer. She ended up buying 5 or so houses from me over my real estate career. They're all investment properties for her. I made great commission. She's got 5 investment properties that are making her an income every single week. And it was a great working relationship for both of us. I still talk to her today. Now, the point of that is don't judge anybody. So when you're down the street at your butcher's, for example, your butcher may be a male, but he should know what you do for a living. Your butcher should know that you sell makeup, that you've got lipstick, because he has a wife or a daughter or a mother or a neighbour or a friend that he wants to buy something for. Everyone should know what you do, and everyone should know if they want that product that you're the person to go to. So don't judge anybody. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, and this is probably the number 1 or number 2 most important thing that helped me in my real estate career, was what we call a pipeline. Now, once again, this is really hard over a webinar because I can't point things out to you and explain it to you. You're just going to have to sort of roll with me. The pipeline myself and Lucy chose to explain to you today is a pipeline that we put together for mascara. Now, every pipeline is slightly different when it comes to time, but this one is based on mascara. So the first time that you meet somebody and they buy mascara off you is what we call the first point of contact. So that's that first little blue box you see in the bottom left corner. You meet a lovely lady, she buys mascara from you. The first thing you do after she buys that mascara is you put her in your pipeline. And your pipeline is basically what we call like a set and forget process. It will then remind you the next time to make a point of call and what that point of call is. So she buys the mascara from you. A couple of days later, you'll get a reminder pop up, whether you set this up either on your phone or we have programs that will do this sort of thing, and we can email those to you, or we can set one up just like this for you and email it to you. A couple of days later, you'll get a reminder to send her a thank you card. It was lovely meeting you a couple of days ago. I'm sure the mascara will work great. Speak to you again soon. Literally just a point of contact. And the reason you're doing that is to develop a relationship. Now, the first point of contact was actually meeting her face to face and selling her mascara. The second point of contact was a few days later when you sent her a thank you card. It was lovely meeting you. The third point of call is about 2 weeks later. When she's used the mascara a few times, you follow up with a phone call. You want her to hear your voice again. And you just, once again, it's all about a relationship. You just let her know that it was lovely meeting her and you hope she's enjoying the product. So this time it's more personal because it's over the phone, not a thank you card. It's just a reminder that we haven't forgotten about you and we hope you're enjoying the product. Now, 2 weeks after that, it's now been a month and a half since you first met her. You're going to do what we call the fourth contact call. So you call her up and you let her know that we have new products, or we have a lipstick that's going to suit her skin tone, or we have a new product that goes well with this mascara, or we have an eyeliner, or you're basically giving her a call to now offer further product to her. Now, the reason we wait for the fourth call is because you don't come across as pushy. You've developed a relationship. She's met you. She's got a card from you. She's got a phone call from you. Now, this is another point of call. Now, whether she buys something or not, whether she's interested in further products or not, is irrelevant. This pipeline is a mascara pipeline. What it's really all about is that fifth call, which is when she's run out of mascara, when you offer her a replacement, another one. So we know mascara lasts about 3 months. Everyone obviously applies it differently, but roughly speaking, mascara will last some 3 months. So that last box, that fifth contact call, you can sort of assume that by now she has run out of mascara. You've had 4 points of contact with her, you call her up and you let her know, there's nothing, you don't need to be deceptive. Look, most of my clients run out of mascara about 3 months. It's been 3 months since you bought it for me, which looks impressive because you've remembered the date that she bought it off you. It's 3 months later to the date. I just wanted to offer you another one just in case you are one of these girls who runs out every 3 months. Now, if she has run out, we know she's going to like the product because the product, it's a good product. So if she has run out, she's very likely to buy it from you again because you've kept in contact with her over the past 3 months and you've actually developed a friendship or some sort of relationship. It's no longer just you calling her trying to sell her something, or every time you see her trying to sell her something. You've actually put her through this process. Now, we call it a pipeline because that's exactly what it is. It's like a pipe, a pipe of water. There's water somewhere, and a pipe is designed to funnel it to exactly where you want it to go. So at the start, you've met her and you're funneling her towards what you want, which is to offer her and sell her another product. So let's just go through that quickly again. The first thing you've got to do is purchase a pipeline program, which are really, really expensive. If you can't do that, we can set up pipeline programs for you. Or you can run it manually through an Excel spreadsheet, where you put her name in one column, the date you first met her, the second point of call on another date, the third point of call, fourth point of call, fifth point of call, all on different columns. And then just every day when you wake up, you look at that date and who do I need to call today? It's the third point of call for this lady, or it's the fourth point of call for that lady today, or today's the fifth point of call for this lady. So you can set it up just on an Excel spreadsheet. So it's set and forget. You actually don't need to remember this. It's all there in front of you. The other thing you can do if you can't afford a pipeline program, which once again are really expensive, is you can set up phone reminders. Just a reminder on your phone on the date to make that call, because it's all based off that first time you met her. Now, if someone was to buy mascara and lipstick, she'd go in your mascara pipeline and your lipstick pipeline. So in 3 months, you've spoken to her twice as many times. You are no longer just someone she calls now and then when she's run out of something. You actually have developed a relationship. Okay. Now, I mentioned that the pipeline was the first or second most important thing when it came to my real estate career. This is the other thing, the first or second thing which really, really worked for me, and it's what's called a database. Now, a database is exactly that. I prefer the term client base because it's literally, that's what it is. It's a list of your clients. So in the first column you have the lady's first name or surname, however you want to set it up. In this example, we'll put their surname first. Then the next column's their first name, their phone number, the date you spoke to them last, and just a little note about what you spoke about. So let's say we called Maria, and we called her on the 26th of the 3rd, the 1st of the 4th, and then again on the 3rd of the 4th. Last time she spoke to you, she might say something along the lines of, look, I can't speak right now, my dog's sick, I'm rushing off to the vet. Then you put that in the notes. So then the next time you speak to her, you give her a call, might be a third pipeline call, for example, you give her a call and you say, last time we were on the phone, your dog was sick, how'd everything go? It's not manipulative, you actually do care, but at the same time, it's very professional. You showed you remembered the last time you spoke to her, what you spoke to her about, you want to make sure everything's okay. Once again, it's developing a relationship. So database is really, really important. The other thing is if for some reason one of your clients isn't in any of your pipelines, that every single person on your database should be called every 3 months. So literally, if let's say you've got 100 people on your database, for example, you should be making 10 calls a day. Then in every 2.5 months, you've spoken to your entire database. So literally 10 connects a day. At the start of the day, just make a little column and tick off every time you've had a phone connect. So if you make 10 phone calls in a day, which let's be honest takes 20 minutes, 2 minutes a phone call, in 10 weeks you've spoken to your whole database. Then you go back to the start and you call them all again. So at very least, every single one of your clients is speaking to you every 10 weeks to 12 weeks. So once again, every 3 months. Now, the reason for this is exactly the same. You're developing a relationship with these girls. They're no longer coming to you. You're not waiting for them to come to you when they've run out of something or when they need something. You're actually going to them. That's why this is a great business. If you think about a shop like a florist or a hairdresser or whatever it is, they have to sit there and wait for their clients to come inside their shop. They have no idea who their next client's going to be, where they're coming from. This is awesome because you know exactly who your clients are. You know their names, their numbers, what they're after, what they're like, their personalities. This allows you to go out and get business, which is exactly what this is about. Now, we're going to have a free giveaway. If someone can just type in the word yes into the chat box, the first one who says the word yes gets. Geez, a few yeses really quick. That's amazing. You girls, I'm really bad at this sort of thing. I don't even know where the chat box is, but look at that. So who was the first yes? Okay. I think it might have been Natalie. No, Natalie, it was Natalie. So Natalie, what we're going to do is if you can private message Lucia on Facebook. Yep. You can private message Lucia on Facebook. We'll be giving you some sort of pack. Now the reason that was like a little experiment. The reason we're giving you some free stuff is because if you don't ask, the answer is already no, which is really, really important. Let's say you're sitting down with a client and you don't ask them if they'd like another colour with that, or if you don't ask them, would you like some foundation with that? You've already got your answer, and the answer is no. Now remember, this is sales. So you've got to be okay to ask the question. And if you do get a no, that's perfectly fine. We'll talk more about how to deal with no's later. The important thing is asking the question. Now just think about that for a bit. If you don't ask, you've already got the answer. And the answer is no. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is staying relevant. Excuse me for a second. I can't actually see you girls, but when I did this training session a couple months ago, I asked every single girl to put up their hand if they ever owned a Nokia. Now, I think you guys can all see each other. I'm not sure. If you can you all raise your hands if you ever had a Nokia?
You should have a little icon that says raise hand. If you can all raise your hand if you ever owned one of these Nokias.
So there'll be an icon if they've raised, if they can. Okay, so
all the hands up.
Okay, so literally almost every single person's hand is up. Now, what I want you to do is click again and put your hand down if you still, sorry, I want you to keep your hand up if you still have a Nokia.
So if you don't have the Nokia now, put your hands down, ladies. So almost every hand's starting to go down now.
Okay, so we had something like 20 girls put their hand up saying they had a Nokia, and only two girls still have a Nokia. Now, there's nothing wrong with Nokia. I'm not putting Nokia down. What I'm saying is Nokia didn't stay relevant. Now, we all loved the Nokia. The battery life lasted forever. You could drop it off the second floor of your house and it wouldn't break. Snake was a great game. The phone was fantastic. They had done all the hard work. They'd got us as a client. The easy part, keeping us, they didn't do. Now, the reason they weren't able to keep us as clients is they didn't stay relevant and they didn't keep in contact with us. If I had gotten a call from Nokia when I owned a phone and was told about their next phone coming out, or the next feature on the new phone, or I was given a free giveaway, or something every time my contract was about to run out, or every time a new phone came out, we'd probably all still have our hands up right now talking about how good Nokia is. They didn't stay relevant, and they didn't go out for their next customer. They waited their next customer to come to them. That's not how it works if you want to be successful. Apple are really good at this, and that's why Apple are relevant and have been relevant for a long time, and I believe will continue to be relevant. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is Avon. We've all heard of Avon, the cosmetics company. Now, when we did this last time, we played a little clip from the movie Edward Scissorhands. I don't know if anyone remembers this scene, but the lady in the movie is knocking on everyone's doors in the neighbourhood saying, Avon Calling, and they all know exactly who she is, and they know what she wants just from that Avon Calling. Now, Avon, it's a bit of an interesting story. Avon was founded in 1886, so it's like a 129-year-old company. It actually started out as an insurance company, so there was a door-to-door salesman. It was a bloke, a door-to-door salesman. He'd knock on people's doors during the day and offer them, I think it was life insurance. Now, times were different back then, and we're all glad it's changed. But back then, 1886 or whatever it was, the females, the lady of the house, didn't necessarily make some of the financial decisions in regard to the household. The husbands did that back then. We're glad things have changed, but that's how it was back then. So he found that knocking on the doors during the day wasn't a good idea, wasn't making him much money. So he changed his company to make it relevant to the people that were home, his market audience. So he started selling what he thought what the ladies love and what the ladies have that men don't, and that was makeup. So he started door knocking, selling makeup, and that's how that company started as a cosmetic company. Now, once the company got bigger, he got girls on his team, he opened up a head office, etc., etc. They were a successful company, but they weren't the Avon that we know and love today. They actually weren't doing too well. There weren't many cosmetic companies in the industry. Back the industry wasn't that big. I think it was, now this is off the top of my head, but I think it was 1945 or 1946. At the end of the financial year, they were the 32nd or 33rd most profitable company in the industry. So there were 31 or 32 companies that were doing better than them selling cosmetics. Now, in that year, when he got these statistics, the next year he decided to teach every single one of his girls how to door knock. So he spent a lot of time doing training sessions like we're doing today, talking to girls about how to go out there, knock on houses, and sell makeup. In that 1 year, so from 45, 46, whatever it was, to 47, he didn't bring out any new products, advertising on the radio or do a new ad on TV or anything like that. The only new thing they implemented was door knocking, going out to their clients and getting business. And they went from 32nd or so in the industry to first, to number one. Once again, all they changed was going out and getting customers. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about door knocking, and I've had a lot of experience door knocking. It was a big part of what I did in real estate. Now, the number one thing when door knocking is safety. Okay, you've got to remember that it's a different world these days. Safety is number one. So what I'd do is I'd make sure I let someone in the office know where I was going. If I was door knocking Smith Street, I'd tell someone in the office I'm door knocking from number 1 to number 100 Smith Street. I'll be back in 2 hours. So someone always knew where I was. The other thing you can do is go in pairs. So have one lady door knock one side of the street and another lady door knock another. Now, when talking about a street to door knock, that brings me to my next point, which is a target area. So you don't just door knock Smith Street in the city and then door knock somewhere in Pakenham an hour away. You literally pick 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, preferably near your house, and saturate that area. So what I'd do is I'd actually print off a map, and I would pick a street. I'd park my car at one end of the street. I'd door knock that entire side. I'd then cross the road, door knock all the way back, and I'd be at my car again. Now, that brings me to my next point, which is keeping records. Let's say when I door knocked that street, number 2, number 10, and number 15 didn't answer. I would write that down, and I'd come back to 2, 10, and 15 on another day, because you literally want to speak to every single person on that block that you've picked out. Once you spoke to every single person, pick another block, the block next to it. Once you spoke to every single person in that block, pick the block behind it. Suddenly, you've got what we call a BDA, which is a business development area. That's your main area of focus. You should be not just door knocking on these places, but putting maybe one day door knock a street, and then the week later put pamphlets in their letterboxes. And then anyone who gave you their name and number when you did door knock them, call them the week later. So they've spoken to you 3 times or heard from you 3 times in 3 weeks. Then they go in your database and you speak to them once every 3 months. Or they go in a pipeline and you follow the pipeline process. The point is keeping records of every single area you knock, who you missed, and then going back and getting them again. Now, the other thing is consistency. Consistency is really, really important, and that actually I have a little story that I like to talk about consistency. I worked about a 20-minute drive from my house. This is going back a couple of years. And it was just one long main road that I'd be driving down. And I remember first or second week that I was working there doing this drive every morning, I noticed this guy who sold coffee and donuts on the side of the road. And he never really had anyone there. So it was like one of those, those caravans, those little caravans you drive through and he gives you a donut and a coffee, you're paying $3 or whatever it is, and then keep going to work. I noticed that there was no one ever there, which isn't a big deal. Like, you just think, okay, well, that doesn't work. But about 4 or 5 kilometres down the road, there was another man selling coffee and donuts. Same setup, caravan, nothing special. And there were heaps of people lined up there. And I started thinking, okay, I guess this second guy makes really good coffee and donuts. Like, what's going? Maybe the donuts are just better. So I decided to stop in one day, and the donuts and the coffee weren't that good. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. Maybe the first guy who has no customers, maybe they're just really bad donuts and coffee. So the following day I stopped off there just to see what was going on. Now, the guy who had no clients had better coffee and better donuts. And I started thinking, why is this taking place? After working and taking this drive every morning for a month, so once again, I was consistently driving every day down this road, I noticed that the guy who had no customers was sometimes there on a Monday, sometimes he wasn't, sometimes he was there 3 days a week, sometimes 2, sometimes he was there every day, sometimes he wasn't, sometimes he'd set up at 6 in the morning, sometimes he'd set up at 7. The point I'm trying to make is the guy who had no clients wasn't consistent. If you're going to work in the morning, an alarm wakes you up, you've got a routine, you've got to be at work at a certain time, you want to make sure that you get your coffee 100% of the time. So you're going to stop and speak to the gentleman and get your coffee from the guy who's there also 100% of the time. You don't want to take any risks. And once this guy had customers, they didn't go somewhere else. He kept them. The hard part is getting them, and he got them through being consistent and being there every day. They could count on him for what they needed. And that also relates back to what you're doing. You want to be the first person that your customers think of when they see lipstick. If they see a lipstick on another girl that they like, they straight away you want them to think of you and ask you, do you have this certain colour? You want to be their point of call when it comes to all things makeup. Just like this guy who was there every day was all his customers' point of call when they wanted a coffee. They didn't want to risk driving an extra kilometre in case that other guy wasn't there. So consistency is really, really important. Now, when it comes to a travel kit, that's everything you're going to need when you are door knocking, in case you meet someone who's very interested and you do a presentation for them. So Lucia is going to speak to anyone who wants to know about a travel kit. Just message her on Facebook and she'll let you know exactly what you need in a travel kit, how to set it up. Once again, it's portable. It's just the essentials to what you need. Now, the last thing I mentioned earlier, dealing with no's, dealing with rejection. The last thing I want to speak about is just that, dealing with rejection. You'll get a lot of no's when you're out door knocking. Now, I came up with a little system that worked for me. I'd hear no, we're not interested, come back another day, we're not thinking of selling, no, like you just hear this all the time. So I came up with a little game which helped me a lot. I worked out that if I door knocked 100 houses, now this is on average, if I door knocked 100 houses, I'd get one yes. So roughly speaking, every 100 people I spoke to was one person who was thinking about selling. Not necessarily one person who was going to sell that day, but one person who was thinking about it. And they'd go on my database. So what I worked out is that I needed to get 99 no's. So if I door knock someone's house and I heard no, I'd think yes, I have 98 no's to go. If I door knocked another person's house and got another no, I'd think yes, 97 no's to go. And it changed my whole outlook from hating the word no to becoming a bit of a game, loving hearing no, because I knew that the next no was one step closer to yes, which is what I want. So don't be afraid of rejection. Don't be afraid of no. Remember that if you don't ask the question, you've already got a no anyway, so no is actually not that bad of a thing. And just keep going, keep track of what you're doing and work out how many no's you need to hear to get a yes. And yes is that word that we want to hear. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, well, we've sort of been talking about it all night. It's called prospecting. Bear with me for a second. Prospecting is the most essential part of your business. Door knocking is just a part of prospecting. Your databases and calling your database is prospecting. Prospecting is basically going out there and finding customers. Now, let's say last time we did this, we spoke about Mother's Day. You could literally pull out a phone book, look up an area near you, your BDA, your business development area. You could call every single house. You don't need to have met them before. Call every single house and just ask simply, for example, let's use Mother's Day, okay? Now, you could do this for Christmas, you could do this for Easter, you could do this for Valentine's Day, you could do this for no reason at all. But let's just use an example of Mother's Day. You could give a house a call and simply say to them, my name's Angelo, I work for SeneGence, and we're actually doing a free giveaway. We're giving away a lipstick to anyone who has a lady in the house. Everyone's going to say yes to a free lipstick. You say, we just need to ask you a quick couple of questions to make sure you qualify. First question is how many ladies in the house? 2. Fantastic. We just want to talk to you a little bit about you to find out what lipstick's best for you, what colour hair, or you'd actually probably don't even ask that. You don't want to get too personal. You just, how many ladies in the house? Fantastic. You qualify. When would be a good time to send the lipstick to you? And they'd say, look, tomorrow's fantastic. I'll come around and give it to you because this lipstick, I'd like to give you a demonstration on how to actually use it. Now, suddenly it's the next day, you're at that house with the product that you're giving them for free, you show them how to use it, and then they go straight on your pipeline, your lipstick pipeline. You give them a call in a week, you send them a card in 2 days to thank them, you give them a call in a week to see how it's going, you call them in 2 weeks again to offer something else, then you call them in a month if they've ran out. So literally by you calling the phone book, someone from the phone book that you've never met that you know lives a few streets away, and then dropping off lipstick to them, which is actually a presentation. You've actually now had a face-to-face presentation with them. You've now got another client. Now, once again, 99 no's. You might call 20 people, 30 people who don't want the free giveaway, but you only need to find 1 or 2 or 3 and do this once a week to build a client base. So prospecting doesn't have to be a reason, but Valentine's Day is great. That's another one. We're speaking to all the men in the house. We're giving away free Valentine's gifts for your partner. How old's your partner? We just want to make sure we've got the right thing for her. Fantastic. When's a good time I can drop it off to? Every time he wants to buy his partner a gift, from that point on, he's going to call you as long as you keep doing these things that we've told you about. Okay. So prospecting is cold calling. Self-promotion is prospecting. So business cards that you make up yourself, a Facebook page, wearing the lipstick on your hand that doesn't come off everywhere you go. It's kind of like a billboard on your hand. Wearing your name tag, going to markets, going to exhibitions, doing raffles, giveaways, doing things like we're doing tonight. Training session is even prospecting. Any time you are going and putting yourself and the brand out there is prospecting. So that's a very, very important part of what we're doing. Once again, if anyone has any questions about this, you can always contact Lucy or give me a call. I'm happy to go through this one-on-one if need be. Now, the next thing I wanted to mention is social media. We didn't have social media back in the day. It's really good for us in this sort of business. Put YouTube videos out. Lucy's got a YouTube video. This is how she started, actually. She put a YouTube video out when she first started, and it now has how many views? 70,000 views. 70,000. If 1% of those people, my maths isn't great, but if 1% of those people end up wanting to know more about it, that's 700 people that Lucy's going to speak to from one video. So that's also prospecting, and use social media. Make your own Facebook page, put YouTube videos out there, put them on your Facebook page, go to Facebook pages that have buy and swap meets, things about the local area, anything you can will help you. Instagram, all that sort of thing. And prospecting is a lifestyle. This company is a lifestyle. I mentioned it earlier on that Lucy worked a 9-to-5 job and has a lovely husband, has a beautiful child, my nephew. She gets to make more money, a lot more money, than working a hard, boring 9-to-5 job, and at the same time gets to have her kid and her husband next to her for the whole day, because she's implemented some of these things we spoke about today. You girls are doing this not just for the money. It's because this company actually provides a lifestyle. You can't do this at other 9-to-5 jobs in an office. I'm actually excited about it. So take this on not just as a job, but something that you do for a lifestyle. Now, goal setting. Goal setting is really, really important. I had a video about goal setting that I really, really liked, but once again, we can't put videos up here. We probably can, but I'm not good with computers. So we've had to cut that video out. When it comes to goal setting, I keep records of everything. So let's say, just to relate back to real estate, let's say in the month of January I made 50,000 commission, for example. Of course, all that money doesn't go to me. I work for a company, but just for example, let's say I wrote $50,000 in gross commission. I make sure that the next January I beat $50,000 in gross commission. Let's say that in May I wrote $60,000 worth of commission. I've gone up 10,000 in 3 months in what I write. So the next 3 month space, I want to write 20,000 more. So you keep track of everything, you write it down, and you make sure you beat it. Even if it's by the smallest amount, if you beat it every time, it grows and grows and grows. And this sort of feeds off itself. So goal setting is really, really important. I have a goal list that I keep in my suit jacket pocket, and I look at my goal list every single day. I have a list of goals above my bed. I have a list of goals they're all the same. What's on the list is exactly the same on every list, but I want it everywhere. It's in my suit jacket pocket, so I can look at it when I'm at work. Sometimes I get down and I pull out my goal list and I remember why I'm doing this. I have a goal list above my bed so I can see it before I go to bed at night. The goal list in my car when I'm driving to appointments, I have a look at my goal list when I pull over. Goals are really, really important, and the more you look at them, the more it will drive you to do the things you need to do to achieve those goals. So goals are really, really important. They're like having dreams in life. Now, if there are any questions at all, please just message them through on the chat box now. Otherwise, if you think of something later, message it to Lucy on her Facebook page, and we'll be doing another one of these webinars at some stage soon as well. Lucy will keep you informed about that. But yeah, if there are any questions, please let us know. We're more than happy to help. Helping you helps us as well. I can see someone's typing, so we'll just wait for a moment. Now, I imagine we're not doing a raffle?
No.
Okay. Is that slide in here? Okay. There's multiple attendees are typing. I hope they're easy questions, guys. I'm getting tired. I'm mucking around. Any questions are fine. Look, the main thing tonight is, if you took anything away from tonight, I want you to remember the pipeline, the databasing, the 99 no's, and a good little one is also Nokia. They did all the hard work. They had us as clients. They couldn't keep us. So if you've got, I don't know how, let's say you've got 10 clients, 20 clients, 30 clients, you've already done the hard work. If you've sold them something once, you've done the hard work. The easy part is putting them in a pipeline and sending them a thank you card, or calling them in a week, or calling them every 3 months, or popping a card in their letterbox. That's the easy part, and it'll guarantee you their business again. It's actually easier to have you send them lipstick in the mail than then having to drive to Maya or something and listen to some salesperson sell them a product that's not as good. Any questions at all, just send them through.
Thanks so much for being on, lady.
Wait a second. Okay, sorry, I missed all these questions because I'm bad with computers. Bear with us, girls. Lucy's just giving me a hand to find the questions. Okay, I have a question. This is from Maureen. Okay, I have a question. I love body paint. Is there a problem with incorporating that style with SeneGence to make a sale? Absolutely not. I think that's a bloody great idea, Maureen, but you've got to pick your target audience. I spoke about target audiences before. Let's say body paint. You might want to go to some sort of expo that has body paint, or you might want to go to some sort of contemporary art gallery that does body paint. You might want to talk about it there. You might wear body paint at like a music festival. Anywhere that it's relevant. I wouldn't say, door knocking your house, a street with body paint would be the best idea, because they won't understand what's going on, but it's a really good idea. Maybe tattoo studios, maybe someone mentioned a rave, maybe even it might be good they have courses for people that want to be makeup artists for like movies or that sort of thing, special effects. You might want to go there and talk about it, or do a demonstration there. Call up a course, say you'd love to do a demonstration. Then there'll be 20 students at once that you could speak to who are all interested in body paint and special effects type makeup, rather than just like prettying yourself up type makeup. So that's a really good idea. It'll get you attention. Not many other people are doing it. It's memorable, but do it where it's relevant. So really, really good question. Are there any more questions here? I'm getting a lot of thank you. Okay, this question is from Teresa. As I'm only selling lippy, awesome. As I'm only selling lippy, is following up in a week's time too early, or even a couple of days, as they might not be applying the product yet? It's not too early for a thank you card, because you're not thanking them for using the lipstick. You're thanking them for having bought it. You're thanking them for spending time speaking to you. You're just thanking them for meeting. You enjoyed meeting them, which is hopefully a lot of. We find a lot of our clients are lovely people, so you're literally just sending a thank you card for their time. So I don't have to have used it yet. In regards to is a week too soon to call them, what we do in that situation is we'd make a pipeline specific to lips on mascara. So I'll relate this back to real estate again. I had a pipeline for units that was completely different for houses. Now, the reason I had a different pipeline for units is because units, people grow out of them quicker. So a first home buyer can only afford a unit, for example. Buys a unit, very small, has 2 children within 3 years. They've just been married, they're first home buyers, they have a couple kids. The unit's too big for them now, too small for them now, and now they need to buy. So I would speak to my people who bought a unit a lot sooner than people who had bought a 4 or 5 bedroom house. So you would make your pipeline for lipstick specific to people who wear lipstick. I don't wear lipstick, obviously, so I'm not the best person to speak to in regards to how often it's used, how quickly it runs out, but they've got plenty of girls here who would know that sort of thing. Each pipeline is tailored to the product that the pipeline is for. So really, really good question. And once again, it's like your target audience. The pipeline is relevant to the product that the pipeline's for. Now, I've got another question from Rebecca. Lovely name. How do you deal with places like markets, etc.? How do you push past people just walking by? Tips to pull them in. That might be a great time for like body art to get their attention. Now, I wouldn't say that a market is a great place to make sales, but a market is a great place to prospect for future sales. So at a market, I'd be giving out free giveaways, I'd be giving out business cards, I'd be doing demonstrations, have a girlfriend come by that you're putting makeup on, do one demonstration of eye makeup, one demonstration of lipstick, ask someone from the crowd if they'd like to have their makeup done. The point of going to a market would be having a wide audience, a bunch of people there that are impressed. Then you give them all your card, maybe have a register where they all put their name and number if they like, and then if they ever need lipstick or whatever it is that you're doing the demonstration on, they know where to come to. A market wouldn't be, in my opinion, a great idea to make heaps of sales at once. That's what having a database is for. A market would be for getting people on your database, who you then call prospect. At the same time, Lucy's done markets before and done really well on the night and had quite a few sales. But the main thing for a market would be to have a wide audience there that you eventually have developed a relationship with because you've added them to your database. Okay, so another question. Any tips for a bridal expo? I have one coming. Awesome. Is it Tori? Is it what I pronounce that? Tori? Tari? Tauri?
Yeah,
Tori. It's a lovely name as well. I've been speaking to Lucy for a while about weddings and bridal expos. They're absolutely fantastic. Once again, it's a target audience. I'd be talking about the things that are relevant to a bridal party. So the fact that it's a big day, there's a lot of drinking of champagne, it won't smudge, it won't come off, you're wearing a white dress, there'll be no red marks on it. I'd be talking about the things, and this is just off the top of my head, and if you message Lucy on Facebook, we'll give you more tips, but just off the top of my head, I'd be thinking about the advantage, what people are looking for at a bridal party, why SeneGence would be a benefit to them in that situation. So once again, wearing white dresses, it's not going to come off and leave lipstick marks. It's a long day. You're not going to have to keep reapplying. It's a really busy day. You do it once in the morning, it's done. You're going to be drinking lots of champagne. It's not going to come off on all the glasses. You're not going to kiss your husband, which you're going to be doing a lot because it's your wedding day, and he's going to have lipstick all over him. There's lots of photos going on that day. It's really, really important that what you put on in the morning stays exactly where you put it. There's heaps of reasons why the lipstick is perfect for a wedding or a bridal expo, and I'd just be talking more about what's relevant. So yeah, really, really good question, Tori. How often would you, thanks Paul, how often would you use flyers in conjunction with door knocking? All the time. All the time. That, in fact, flyers would be part of your travel kit, which Lucy will talk to you about. Just message her on Facebook. So in your travel kit, you won't just have the makeup. You'll have a whole bunch of business cards and a whole bunch of flyers. Now, anyone who didn't answer the door, I'd be walking out of their front door, down their driveway, straight to their letterbox. And I'd be putting a business card and a flyer in their letterbox, letting them know you stopped by. So yeah, really good question. Flyers in conjunction with door knocking, really, really important. Yeah, so just to go over that again, if anyone wasn't home when I was door knocking, I'd put a flyer and a business card in their letterbox, and I'd then mark down their address, 28 Smith Street wasn't home, and you know I went there at 1 in the afternoon. Obviously these guys aren't home till after 5. I'm going to come back after 5 in a week or tomorrow. Now when you come back after 5 and they're home this time, mention, I came here a few days ago, no one was home, I popped a business card and a flyer in your letterbox, I hope you didn't mind, did you read through it? So that, because you've turned a negative into a positive, because you missed them last time and then you've gone back, you've actually now got 2 point of calls because you left a business card and a flyer in their letterbox. I feel like I'm missing a bunch of questions.
No, you put it off. Colleen made a really good point there.
What was Colleen's point?
Colleen said she started in April when she found out that you get a lot of patients. Now we get more than three customers and maybe Elaine's going out next week. So it's all about persistence and hard work.
Awesome, Colleen. Awesome. It's all about persistence and hard work. She's spot on. And if she, and I'm sure she will, especially after listening to this tonight, if she now keeps in contact with those people, they will absolutely love her. They'll tell their friends. Prospecting feeds off itself. Remember, the hard thing is getting them. The easy thing is keeping them. And if they're impressed, which they will be if you do these things, they're going to tell their friends, their mothers, their sisters, their boyfriends. 3 clients turn into 4 by itself if you treat those 3 right. But then you're also adding another 3 by doing these things we've mentioned. So it's sort of self-feeding. It's like when you're trying, like, this sounds stupid, but like I was changing a tyre not long ago and I was trying to push the wheel. It's really hard when you start pushing it, but once it's started rolling a bit, then you just need to tap it every metre or so and it's going to keep rolling. That's sort of like prospecting. It's hard to get it going, but once it gets going, it sort of feeds itself. So it's follow up, as Paul said. It's all about following up. Different. Look, all these girls are making really good points. Another good thing is to keep in contact with each other. Lucy's got a Facebook page for that. Ask each other for tips. Let each other know something that worked. Let each other always be positive. Help each other out. All these girls here that we see on this list are your best source of information. Lucy's always there. Lucia's always there. Paul's always there. I'm always there if you need. But you've also got each other. It's like a little family. It's really nice, actually. Any other questions at all? So look at this, Crystals. I was a lip sense bride. Feel free to message me on Facebook. See that? How nice is that? Yeah, it's all about helping each other. So how many girls have we got on here at the moment? 37 girls. I would encourage you all to keep in contact with each other. Work together. And this isn't just about promoting Lucy, but Lucy's bloody awesome what she does. Lucy's a crown princess because she does the things we've spoke about tonight. That's why she's got the business that she's got. Is there anything else we need to talk about? There's a few girls typing. Do we just leave this up or what?
That's
That's what
just
I mean, a couple of girls.
we'll shut down the webinar, and we've got another webinar in a fortnight's time. So I'm sure we'll see you all again soon, and you can also contact us with any questions. Yeah, so thank you. You did really good. Thanks, Angela. It was awesome.
Thanks, guys. Speak to everyone soon, I hope. Have a good night.